Hello Channel NITT viewers, I am DS your psychologist and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. In one of our previous episodes, we talked about this couple and I mentioned that Iris is an ENTP while Raymond is an INTP. Personally, I have more problems with the INTP than the ENTP. So I have done a lot of INTP episodes. So this episode, I'm going to talk more about the ENTP. So this is the cognitive stack of the ENTP. The ENTP uses NE as their dominant function and TI as their auxiliary function. Generally, as an ENTJ, I have a huge problem with TI. So being a very high TE user, I totally cannot understand people who have tunnel vision. So when I started doing Channel NITT, I asked a lot of people, including my own students, for feedback. So because I profile my students before we even start our lesson, I know that there are a lot of TI users. Their feedback or their suggestions are usually very baseless. So there was even one ENTP who told me that I should change the background behind because this will attract more people watching. First of all, they don't know how YouTube works. The YouTube doesn't recommend something just because you change your background to a better one, right? And also, these TI users are only thinking from their own point of view. So generally, a lot of people watch the videos and then they give their personal input based on their personal opinion. There isn't anything wrong with it, but as feedback and suggestion, it doesn't really help. Why? Because you don't represent the viewer population that I am expecting. So after doing this channel for a long time, I realized that the community has a distinct quality. They do not care about the background, they care more about the content and the things that I speak. Generally, TI users, they tend to think only from their point of view, which sometimes can be very frustrating when you need them to think about the bigger picture. I really enjoy opinions given by INTJs because they are very sincere and they think of the target population before they give you the advice or suggestion. They will say, okay, personally I think that this. So I think that your viewers are going to like this because of this. You know, it's very oriented towards helping you and guiding you along. So generally, I think that INTJs and ENTJs would serve as better consultants. So my personal opinion of the ENTPs is that they have a lot of diffuse ideas at times. They choose one and then they justify at all costs why this has to be the one. So based on a Facebook friend of Iris who is an ENTP, I have gathered some form of a picture that may explain the ENTP to greater depth. So very long ago when Singapore demanded people to have vaccination, Iris did put into a post that she is very concerned about this because she does not want to have any foreign, unproven vaccination in her body. And besides that, she also justified that her health is weak. So I am thinking along the track of an NE plus TI user. So I could possibly think that an ENTP, not necessarily Iris, may start to think of ways to resolve this. So for sure, I know that I am not going to take vaccination, so let me think of a way to deal with it. So using NE, they can engage in a lot of different ideas like, why don't I amass or try to find other people who's like myself and we start a community to voice our own concerns of why we should not be vaccinated. Yeah, why not I be the chairperson instead? Something like that. And then that is how Healing the Divide starts. And then from there, NE starts to go track down TI and then she gives explanations of why this community or this organization is justified. So the COVID vaccinations may have definitely caused, at least worldwide, some people to die, and these people are healthy to start off with. But I think the TI user may be missing the point. The TE user doesn't think this way. The TE user may have a very bleak, cruel point of view, thinking that your life is not as significant as you thought it was. Generally, maybe I don't want something in my body because I don't trust it. I may die, but anybody dies anyway. So you may not have died because of the vaccination, but you could be in a car accident, a very fatal one, that caused you to split and then you die instantly. Well, this is just an example. I'm not cursing anyone, I'm just saying that this is a possibility. So if the possibility is always there, do you stop taking the vaccination? From the TE point of view, no. You can choke while you are eating also, but you have to eat anyway, right? Okay, this may be not a very good analogy. Let's use another one. We have autonomous vehicles, right? Vehicles nowadays have been programmed in such a way that you do not need to even have a driver. So they have shown that it is safe. But is it always going to be safe down the road? Assuming that it was safe or it is safe. Surely down the road you will have cases whereby there will be accidents and fatal deaths in an autonomous vehicle. That's for sure. Okay? Because why? Probability. With enough number of cases, there will be someone who will die in an autonomous vehicle. And this will become publicity, and because of the attention effect that the news is going to bring up, you become very scared. Just like every time the aeroplane explodes or something like that, it will be on the news, giving you the illusion that taking a plane is actually very dangerous. The TI user, I think, doesn't really think this way. They think very one track. So generally, I think that in a society, especially where politicians, activists, they are concerned, you definitely need to have a person who is TE oriented to be a leader, because TI itself doesn't really work that way. What are TI users good for? So a very successful TI case, every time I think of a successful TI user, I will always think of Albert Einstein. So they dive deep into science and then they come up with good science theories. So here, I would think that a TI user would be good if they can think of a track that can benefit society. So I think TI users could potentially be good engineers, good scientists. Now that we have issues of sustainability, of global environmental protection, the TI user can actually use their talent that way. Unfortunately in Singapore, in many areas, a lot of people, including the government, they do not think of cognitive functions effectively to assign people to where they are more suited to thrive in. In any case, because TI is very single track, very tunnel vision, very micro in terms of its view, it can go very deep if it goes the correct track. However, they are usually going to be in denial when opposed by a TE user like me. So if you are a TI user, okay, this is your dominant function or this is your auxiliary function, you use it so often until you cannot see the bigger picture, that's okay. So generally, it will be very difficult for an ENTJ, especially the ENTJ assertive, who is high in the dominant function and the auxiliary function, to relate with an ENTP or an INTP, especially those that are high in their auxiliary and dominant functions. So the resulting verdict that I have made in the earlier videos that I made about the compatibility between ENTJ and ENTP and ENTJ and the INTP still holds. But this is also because I am thinking from my own perspective of an ENTJ assertive. So because of the differences in cognitive stacks, it can be very frustrating for a relationship between the ENTJ and ENTP or the ENTJ and the INTP, especially in the long run. Sometimes you don't even need the long run. In my personal experience, in the very short run, already clash big time with the INTP, and in the middle run, I clash with the ENTP. Okay, at Channel NITT we produce a lot of ENTJ videos such as this one. If you have enjoyed this video, do give us a like. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more ENTJ, MBTI and fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye bye!